In the early hours of June 6, 1944, the English Channel was unnaturally calm. British officers stood along the coast, scanning the dark horizon, expecting movement, but still unprepared for what they were about to see. Then the sea began to change, not with waves or fog, but with shadows. Long, endless shadows stretching across the water. As the light slowly grew, the truth became impossible to ignore. The ocean was no longer empty. It was filled with steel. Thousands of ships moved forward together, packed so tightly they seemed to merge into one unstoppable force. Battleships, destroyers, landing crafts, and transport vessels covered the water as far as the eye could see. One British officer reportedly lowered his binoculars and whispered that this was not a fleet, but an entire nation crossing the sea. No military mind had ever witnessed power on this scale. It was the largest invasion force ever assembled, and everyone watching understood the weight of the moment. If this armada failed, there would be no second chance. The war would drag on, and Europe might never be freed. A senior British commander quietly remarked that if this operation collapsed, the world would remember this morning as the beginning of the end for hope itself. The ships kept moving forward, steady and silent, carrying men who knew exactly what waited for them on the other side. Inside those ships were soldiers barely old enough to shave, gripping rifles with shaking hands. Some stared at family photographs. Others wrote final letters they never expected to send. Many had trained for years for a beach they had never seen, against an enemy that had prepared those shores to kill. The beaches ahead were lined with mines, barbed wire, and concrete bunkers designed to turn the sand red within minutes. Commanders knew some units could lose half their men before reaching cover, yet the orders did not change. The fleet continued forward without hesitation. British naval officers watching from their positions felt two emotions at once: pride and fear. Pride in witnessing unity on a scale the world had never known, and fear because they understood the cost. Victory was not guaranteed. Success depended on timing, weather, courage, and luck. One mistake could doom thousands. Still, the armada advanced, wave after wave, as if the sea itself had decided that this was the moment history would turn. When the first troops hit the beaches, communication went quiet. Radios crackled but brought no clear answers. For hours, no one knew whether the invasion was holding or collapsing under enemy fire. Command rooms across Britain waited in tense silence, knowing that the fate of the war was being decided minute by minute on blood-soaked sand. Then the message finally arrived. The Allies had secured a foothold. The line was holding. A British general reportedly closed his eyes when he heard the news and said that the war had just begun to end. That massive fleet had done more than cross the English Channel. It had crossed fear, doubt, and uncertainty. That morning proved something the world would never forget. When free nations move together with purpose, even the strongest defenses can be broken, and even the darkest tides can be turned.